In real estate, investors, flippers, or landlords usually get paid last, and lenders get paid first. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you the difference by being a private money lender or owning rentals or doing flips, and the cash flow difference, because it's different. Because a lot of us read this book, and for me, after reading this book, I started to buy rentals, and I realized that cash flow is not the greatest way to generate cash flow by owning rentals. My name is Chaim Aman Palman. I've been a real estate investor for over a decade. I did flips, I did rentals, I did wholesaling, and now I've done over 300 private money loans, and I think I can share with you the good, the bad, of the ugly of being a private money lender, and sharing my experience owning rentals and everything in between. So this is video number 3 in the series, the cash flow video, and this is after the video about position, when we decided how deals comes to you, what type of deals that you want to come to you, what's your lending box, how you filter deals, and then we spoke about the protect phase, how we protect the downside, how we control the downside if the deals go sideways, and what we can do to minimize risk as much as possible. And in this video, we're gonna talk about cash flow, because at the end of the day, it's all about cash flow, at least for me, because I got into real estate to generate cash flow, not what I see on the spreadsheets, not what I see on pro formas, it's what actually hit the bank. So this is what we're gonna talk about in this video, and we're going to attack it from different angles. The 3 angles that we're going to talk about is the cash in at the beginning of the deal, how we get paid first, then the cash flow, how we get paid monthly, and the cash recycle, how we get paid off and get the money back to us, and the benefits of each one of them. So let's talk about the first one, is the cash in. One of the things that I like being a private money lender, I'd get paid first when I collect points on day 1, okay? As a lender, I fund the deal, I collect points before the money even starts working. I'm collecting my points. You know, if you are a landlord or a flipper, you get paid last. And how much work you need to do? You need to close the deal, usually need to bring money to the deal, then you need to do the rehab, you need to pay money to the contractor to manage the rehab, to make sure it's scheduled, to make sure it's on time. Then, if you're renting the property, you need to have a property manager, or you do it yourself, which means that you work even harder to find a tenant, to place a tenant. You usually pay the money for the first month to place the tenant, and if you put it on the market, this is you list it with an agent, and you pay 5 to 6% to list the property and sell it. So you pay them the money, and only then you get money here. So if it's a rental, it can be weeks. If it's a flip, it can be months. And sometimes I've seen it that you do all of this work, and at the end you make 0 money. And even worse, sometimes I see people losing money. Okay, so not a good position to be in, and this is what I don't like about being a landlord or a flipper. You need to do a lot of work. Sometimes, again, it's great. You make a lot of money when you flip a house and everything went great, and sometimes it can be great owning a rental when everything goes as well and you get money every month on clockwise. But from my experience, there's always issues with renters down the road, and the cash flow is not there. So as a lender, if my average loan amount is $150,000, I charge 3 points, which equal to $4,500. So I get $4,500 on day 1. This is sometimes 2 years worth of cash flow. I need to wait 2 years to make sure everything goes with no issues, and only then I'm gonna get something closer to this amount, because most landlords shoot for 300 per month. Some people for less, some people for more. So this is basically 3,600 for 1 year if everything goes great. And I make it more than that on day 1 with my loans. Big benefits for having this model when you cash in on day 1. So this is cash in, okay? So let's talk about the second page, is the cash flow. How do you get paid monthly? How can you rely and plan your life on every month getting the same amount of cash flow? This is key for me, because I live off this interest payment, and when I was planning or hoping to live off the rental income that was coming in, I very quickly realized that this is not something that I can predict, because every month it's different. There's repairs, there's vacancy, there's issues, there's eviction, and I cannot rely on the monthly payment versus cash flow. So let's talk about the cash flow, because there's two different types of income. There is operational income and there is contractual income. So let's talk about operational income. If you are a landlord or a flipper, you rely on your income or your payment to come to you to make money when everything goes great. You're based on performance. The tenants need to pay on time, the rehab needs to go on time and on budget, the market holds, it's strong, and you get the right offer at the right time, and the listing agent doing a great job, and the property stay occupied and rented. When everything happens, you make money, okay? Great. Now, but what happens if there is any issues? Because you rely on people at the end of the day, you need to manage people, you need to manage performance. So what happens if tenant stops paying? Who absorb it? You do. What happens if the rehab go over budget and you need, again, you open the wall and you see, I don't know, termite issues and you need to treat it? You absorb it as the operator, you pay extra money to move the project, and you rely on that. What happens if the listing agent doing a bad job and you need to replace it? The market now sits on the market for 2-3 extra months. You still need to make payments to your lender, you still need to pay your utility bills, you still need to pay your property taxes. You absorb it as the operator. So what I'm saying is that you rely on performance, on timing, and on people to make money. That's fine. A lot of people do that, but there is another way to make money, which is the contractual income. When you are a lender, there is a promissory note that dictates the terms of the loan and of the payment. There is fixed rate, usually 12 to 13%. This is what I charge. There is a maturity date, there is a start and end of the loan period. And after this period, two things can happen. Either you get paid off and the money comes back to you, or if the borrower, if the investors need more time, they can pay an extension fee. So if something is not on schedule or not based on the promissory note terms, there is consequences to the borrowers. There's contracts, there's clauses that specifically dictate what happens when somebody is late on payments, or if there is delay in paying off the loan, or if basically they are not meeting the agreement, there is consequences. Okay, we spoke about the maturity date, and if there's issues, if there's default, there's collateral that I can go after and take back the property if they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. Again, and this is different because you can tell me, yes, there is an agreement with the tenants too, but what happens if they don't pay? Yes, they have a deposit of 1 month, maybe $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is. This usually doesn't cover the damage that they're going to do when they leave. It doesn't cover the property being vacant, and you still need to pay the eviction fee to an attorney and the 1 month of rent that you're going to pay to a new property manager that place a new tenant. So you're going to absorb it. Here, the person who absorbs it is usually the borrower if they don't meet the requirement of the terms that we set in the promissory note. So big difference, and this is, again, when you have that, you know there is a fixed income that's coming every month, regardless if the property is vacant or occupied. This is key for me because the cash flow is more predictable. Now it comes every month, and now I can live my life and rely on this fixed income that's coming to my way. So hopefully it makes sense for point number 2. By the way, if you want to learn more about private money loans, I share breakdowns of deals, documents, spreadsheets in my school community. So there is a link in the school community. Feel free to join. I will be happy to have you here so you can learn more and connect with other individuals that are involved in private money lending. So let's talk about the third thing that I like about private money lending. It's that the cash is recycled. Cash payoff coming in. Usually my loans are 6 months. So every 6 months, it's the term. So two things can happen in 6 months. Either my money comes back to me so I can redeploy it again and charge again 3 points. So there's the velocity of capital, okay? That's bump my ROI, and that's what I like. I want my ROI to go up. So every 6 months, two things can happen. Either money comes back and then I can redeploy it, or the borrowers pay extension fee. extension fee. And usually this is 2 to 3 points for either three more months to finish the project or complete the refi, or to sell the property, or 6 months or an additional 6 months. But again, it's set exactly in the promissory note what happens if they don't meet the term, the 6 months terms. What happened with a rental? Again, it's harder to liquidate, it's take more time. Usually the cash flow is not as strong and the ROI is not as strong, because here, if I charge 12 to 13% interest and I charge 3 points and I do it twice a year, so 2 times, so this is 6 points, 6% plus 13. So effectively I can get to 19% return on my money. And I haven't even spoken about how I bring a co-lender to the deal when I don't bring the full amount, but this topic for another video. But again, much better. Usually with rentals, you see 8 to 10% on average. If you leverage and you have a mortgage, maybe you can make more, but it's much more management intensive, much more time, much more drama. And I can tell you from experience, every few years there is a big ticket item that kills the cash flow for 2 to 3 years. So this is the cash recycle. This is what I like about it. Money comes back to me and I can decide to do whatever I want with the money. It's liquid again, I can redeploy it again, charge the points, or go to another loan. So this is what I like about the cash flow phase. So this is why I do this. And basically this is complete this series. We did the position, we did the protect, and we spoke now about cash flow. If you want to learn more and you want to work with me, there is a link down below. You can apply or can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to work with you, speak to see how I can help you. And if you want to learn more about, there's another video about this topic here.